Silencer Shop is suing the ATF. Yep, you heard me right. They're suing the ATF. Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. And today we're talking about a topic that you may or may not know about, which is what I said earlier. Silencer Shop is suing the ATF. Now, first, before we get into why, let's talk about who the ATF is. So the ATF is the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. And they are a law enforcement agency under the United States Department of Justice. And their main responsibilities include enforcing federal laws related to firearms, related to explosives, arsons, the trafficking of alcohol and tobacco, as well as regulating firearms and explosives industries. So that's who the ATF is. All in all, just making sure the federal laws related to firearms and explosives and things like that that I just mentioned are regulated and all that good stuff. Well, some of those things that they regulate are called NFA items. So like silencers or suppressors, SBRs, which are short barrel rifles, SBSs, which are short barrel shotguns, and AOWs, which are any other weapons. Those are considered NFA items. Well, what is the NFA? The NFA is the National Firearms Act. It was enacted in 1934, and the NFA primarily regulates the manufacture, transfer, and possession of certain firearms, including machine guns, your short barrel rifles, like I said, SBRs, your short barrel shotguns, your suppressors, and other weapons that they consider to be dangerous. The word dangerous, right? So you have the ATF who has or regulates the NFA items that me and you probably own, or some of you watching may own. And the problem with that is the bill was passed that starting January 1st, 2026, there will be a $0 tax stamp on all NFA items. So that means you go buy a suppressor, you don't have to buy a $200 tax stamp starting in January 2026. If you buy a short barrel rifle, you don't have to pay $200 tax stamp. So you get the point, which is great. We shouldn't have been paying $200 in the first place. But the problem with that is, and what Silencer Shop and others are suing the ATF for, is the fact that we no longer have to pay the $0 tax stamp, but they're still wanting to regulate and register our NFA items. So it's not making sense. Like, if we don't have to pay $0, then you shouldn't have to regulate and register the item that I bought and I didn't have to pay a tax stamp for. So Silencer Shop is suing, like I said, as well as others, because the argument is very simple. No tax stamp means no legal basis for these items to even be on the NFA. And so that's the opening for a challenge that we all want, which is not having our suppressors, not having our SBRs, not having our SBSs, on the NFA list. It shouldn't be. We don't have to pay a tax stamp. We shouldn't have to register those items. So the lawsuit is more than just paperwork. It's a direct shot at overreaching gun laws. ATF is definitely overreaching at this point. And if the court agrees, we could see a future where you can buy your suppressors, your SBRs, your any other weapons, SBSs. We can buy those just like we buy firearms. But we won't have the endless wait times. We won't have the invasive regulations or the registration of it. And we can do it without having to get a government permission slip. So how do we support Silencer Shop and others by doing this? Well, specifically with Silencer Shop, as many of you know, I shop with Silencer Shop. I get my suppressors through Silencer Shop. One, because it is like the easiest platform online right now to get one of these. Just make sure you check out the video at the end of this video of how easy it is to get a suppressor through Silencer Shop. But there's two ways you can support Silencer Shop in this. One is you buy now and avoid the ATF delays. So meaning you do like you've always been doing. You buy your suppressor, through Silencer Shop, through your local gun store, whoever it may be, and you go ahead and pay your $200 tax stamp and you get your suppressor when it's approved. Kind of like what we're doing today. Or your second option is to reserve and then file later. So you go and buy your suppressor, they hold it for you, they reserve it for you until January 1st, 2026 comes around, and then you don't pay the $200 tax stamp, and you just do the regular paperwork, get your suppressor approved, blah, blah, blah. Hopefully by then, with this lawsuit going, we won't have to do any of that. We can just pick up our suppressor and just be on our way. Without all the registration, without all the paperwork, we can just buy the suppressor just like we do our firearms, and in most states, be on our way going home with something that we paid our hard-earned money for. Either way you choose to buy your suppressor is going to directly support the legal battle for the repeal on the NFA and ultimately restore our gun rights. So if you're up for this, make sure y'all visit Silencer Shop's website. They do have a organization going right now. If you want a suppressor, I think it's a win-win in our books. I get my suppressor, but I also help fight against a right that I know I should have. So if that's you, if you're thinking about it, you know, get on board. Again, like I said, visit their website, making sure you understand completely what it is that you're supporting. If you're a 2A supporter, you're going to support it. And if you're not a 2A supporter, then you probably even shouldn't be watching this video. But yeah, y'all, go and support. Make sure y'all let me know if you have bought a silencer from Silencer Shop. Make sure y'all hit me down below and let me know which one it was and why you went with it. But yeah, jump on board. Make sure y'all follow me on all my social platforms. I'm now on Facebook and I am on Rumble. So make sure y'all check that out and subscribe to the channel. Share this video. Share this video with all 2A folks, all 2A advocates that you know, so we can get this battle won and we can get back to shooting, buying our stuff like we want to without anybody hovering over us, telling us what we can and can't do when it's our obligated right. So until next time, stay armed, stay safe, and stay vigilant. Peace.